Okay, so in full transparency, this is not the first time I've sat down to try and do this video. All right, I've spent some time testing this product, recording what was going on, and ran into some hiccups, I guess, that extended the video and delayed the video. And when I sat down to try and go back through it all to try and think like, okay, can I do a timeline so that it makes sense to you and you can trust it and all that good stuff? And it was just going to be too much. It's going to be too much editing and stuff. So I'm just starting from scratch. I'm going to start my tests all over. We're going to look at this product, the X30 by Flywoo. So here we go. So in the past, when I would apply water resistant chemicals to my gear, I want to preface, I think everything in FPV should be titled as water resistant, not necessarily waterproof, because I don't think we have anything yet that is 100% waterproof. Silicone, it's a mess. It overheats your gear. It's not user friendly when it's time to resolder things, stuff like that. I highly don't recommend anybody using silicone unless you're building a sub. All right. The next thing that I used to use is this product here called Dry Drum. Can you see that? Yeah. So this little bottle right here, amazing stuff. This bottle right here is about 60 bucks. They don't make it anymore. And so I'm using this sparingly for more commercial work, things of that nature, things, that might carry a Black Magic or something like that. But the beautiful thing about it was it can go into all your plugs. It can go into your SD card. It can go into your barometer. It could go into all the nooks and crannies, and it would allow data and power to still pass through. But like I said, it's no longer produced. And so we'll have 2 VTXs and 2 all-in-ones, and we'll go through dunk tests and stuff like that and see what the performance is. With that said, let's get started with how I'm applying this product. So I do not like the whole spray top. I think that's a great marketing ploy. I think you're going to waste a lot with that. I think Flywoo should get rid of the spray applicator, and I think they should include a Ziploc bag instead. And I'll show you why I say that. As far as how I apply the product. So I'm going to use this bag. This is the bag that I used to use with the dry drone. I still do, because I still got half a bottle. But like I said, that's 60 bucks. This is 24 bucks. And I'm using that more for commercial purposes, and I'm going to use this more for everyday fun stuff. But I'm going to use this bag to apply the product to these boards. And I think you save in the long run by doing this method. So real quick, so let's get into the application. We'll let them dry, and then we'll get into the testing. So let me go to overhead. All right, so there you go. So this bag is stained yellow, but I've washed it. The dry drum, it has to be used in an extremely well ventilated area. It is very fumy. It gives you headaches. You have to wear gloves. I really think that it's probably not healthy to touch it with bare skin. And it evaporates. As soon as you take the top off, as long as it's exposed to air, it's evaporating. So 60 bucks for something that evaporates as well. Works great, but you need to be very, very careful and very planned when you use it if you don't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do, take this here, take this bag. We're going to pour all this liquid in here. No smell. All right. First, let's put in the AIO, number 1. We're going to seal the bag, and we're going to shake it. We're going to get it all over, everywhere. USB ports, XT30, everything. All right. pull this out, shake it. Let's put this over here. Let that air dry. Let's do board number 2. Real quick, let me make sure it powers on. All right. Got all the lights. Here's the 03. Yep. So let's power this on. Where's my goggles? Oh, here they are. Let's listen for the connection. All right, so let me try and give you a feed. Let's go to side. There. Finally got it. All right. So we know that is working. Let's do the Vista. I need to solder these wires on real quick. Let's go to overhead. All right. So let's hit these wires on here real quick and we power it on. Okay. Okay, everything seems to be plugged in properly. Let's hit it with some power. Okay. All right, so there you have it. All right, so there you have it. Everything's working. All right. Power this one on. You haven't seen this one power on. This is the brand new AIO. There's everything. You got all the lights, blah, blah. We just dipped that one. Now, let's go back to this other one. Everything. Everything. XT30, everything. All right. Now then, let's go for the air unit since I've already got it wired up. I'm going to hold the camera, XT30, and the antenna on this end. Well, You know what? Let's just go ahead and take the antenna off. Let's go ahead and take the camera out. Let's just, you know what? Let's take the ribbon cable off. Let's do the whole kit and caboodle. You ready? Board number 1. Let's do the ribbon cable. And then let's dip that in there. We're gonna do it gently because there's multiple boards in there. But those have all been thoroughly dipped. Let's grab my hook and pull out the other board. All right. And then the ribbon cable, which that one, here, let's just go this route. Let's pour this back in here for the time being. Set the ribbon cable there. Pour the solution back in. Now let's go for the 03. And since I've already got it in this Flywoo, this is my test 03, so I keep it in this Flywoo thing. I'm just gonna leave the camera on there too. All right. Close her back up. Close this up. Get all the air out. That way that will try and stay wet inside. And we're gonna give these time to dry, and then we'll come back and we'll start our testing. So now why don't we start with the all-in-ones, and let's make sure that they still have capability of connecting to Betaflight through their port. Make sure that power and data transmission is still working. Let's go to overhead desktop. There we go. All right. That way you can see that I'm using the exact device. Let's plug in. We got power. We got connection to the PC. Connect. Let's try this. Successful serial port. why. Let's try this other board. Same thing. Or okay, so this board's connected. So this is that used one. We're going to keep trying this. So there we go. So let's calibrate, make sure the gyro is still. Reset, calibrate, configuration. Let's change this to 4, save, reboot. There we go. There we go. So let's disconnect. So you can see there, data and power through the USB port. You'll connect. Hey, okay, so let's do the same thing, 4K. Let's calibrate. Up, down. All right, so there you go. Let's plug in, check the voltage. Yep, that's good. Disconnect. Let's check this one. Plug in. There you go. Which is exactly what we were hoping. Let's do the Vista next, and we'll connect it and make sure that it can connect to the assistant, and then we'll check and see video, and we'll do it on the O3, and then we'll go to dunk tests. All right, so yeah, let's go front overhead. All right, so camera. Antenna. All right, so let's bring up the assistant. All right, so let's, where's my USB cable? USB-C. Oh. Okay, cable's plugged in. Give it some power. The light is on. Green light. Now let's plug it back into the PC. Oh my God. All right, so there you have it. We have data there. Let's unplug. Now let's close. Let's close this out. Let's go to the other assistant. Let's plug in the 03. Voila. Out of here. Activate later. There we go. There we go. Apparently I'm having some weird issues with the PC, but cool. So let's unplug. All right. Okay. So now that we've confirmed they can all power up, they can all transmit data, let's move into the dunk test. All right. So why don't we start with this old used one. See, we got power. Looky there. Looking good. Let's set this to the side. We'll let it dry. Actually, let's just plug it into Betaflight right now. Desktop overhead. Let's go ahead and plug it in Betaflight. Let's see what happens. This is the one that was a little testy. Just came out of the water. Power. Connect. Look at there. All right. I think that's a pretty good sign. Let's do this next one. Doesn't look like any water is sticking to the board. Get in there. Here we go. Yeah. All right, so now let's do the Vista and let's establish video connection. Let's dip it. Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. Now, based on previous testing, the video link does cut out. it won't remain. I don't know if that's going to happen this go around. It would be amazing if the video connection would remain because the antenna is not submerged, but for some reason it was cutting out. And let's see if we can recreate that. So power on our gloves, our goggles. Let's come in here, get some juice, get a video connection, a video feed so I can show y'all. Video's connected. There's the video. Antenna. Oh, I almost messed up. All right, now let's go. And there we go. You can see the red light. We just lost video. Let's unplug. Let's let that dry out. So that's what I suspected. And so if somebody out there knows a scientific reason why something that's supposedly fully water proofed, if the video transmission cuts out after a second submerged, let me know. I'm kind of wondering if it's a temperature issue. It's not able to run at an optimal temperature. It's colder than what it needs to be. Or it's just representing that there's a short, which theoretically there shouldn't be because everything was dipped. But that's what keeps occurring. Now, let's let this dry. Let's do it this way so we can let the water get that USB port. And then we'll do a video link test, and we'll do a desktop Assistant 2 test, and we'll make sure that we still get data and stuff like that. All right. So now let's do the 03. My power leads are soldered onto the Vista. So we're going to let this Vista dry. Then we're going to do the link and data test. And then I'm going to put the leads on the 03, and then we'll do it. And we'll do the same link and data test and see what our final results are. Be back in a second. Let's see if the Vista will connect to data first. So let's open DJI Assistant 2. USB-C cable. Let's hit it with some power. Green light, let's plug in. Looking good. Come on, baby. Oh, let's retry. Couple retries, we're back in. All right, a pretty good test. Let's unplug. Now, let's do video link. See all that? Yeah, okay. Red light, green light. All right. See if I can get you a good shot of this. There I am. All right, so there you go. It worked. Got data, got video link, had to do some retries on the data with the Assistant 2. Maybe there's still some water left in there, but we were able to establish connection. So successful test, video link came back. So as far as water resistant, we can definitely say that. And we can definitely say, in my opinion, that it's better to have this than not. And after a good thorough drying, you're probably going to have your Vista and your stack and stuff rocking and ready to go. Now let's do the 03. The 03 is much more delicate than the Vista. And let's see what our results are there. Okay, so we've disconnected the power supply from the Vista. So let's plug in the 03. All right, desktop overhead. So let's plug in the 03. Let's see what happens. Green light. Let's connect. Come on. Looking good. We're going to get files to upload. Come on, this is... Green light. Retry. There we go. Okay. I don't know what the retry is about, but we got it. And, you know, it may just be the connection with the USB cable and the air unit is this layer is not allowing for a perfect connection. And so what may be occurring is that's maybe what that shows is that the X30 is actually staying on between a thin layer between the connectors. Maybe it's much more water resistant than than I initially thought. And maybe that little micro layer of this material is not allowing a perfect connection, but still allowing a connection. And maybe that's what the retries are from. If that's the case, then I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I think that's even more protection. So I think that's a plus. All right, so now let's unplug. Let's do let's power it on. Let's get the goggles on. Let's make sure there's a link. Then we'll submerge. And then we'll do the test again. All right. So there you go. There's me and my goggles. Boom. Okay. So now let's see what happens. Oh, boy, I almost do it every time. All right, now let's see what happens. Still connected. Lost. Did it just reconnect? Oh, it's reconnected, y'all. Where's the camera? No, it froze. It froze, y'all. So let's do this. Let's let it dry. So let's do this. Let's let it dry. And then we'll give it another test. That looks promising though. That looks promising because it was trying to reconnect. Even though the screen froze, it was trying to reconnect. So let's give it a few minutes to dry out and then we'll come back and we'll retry the connection and see what happens. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so let's plug it back in and see if we can get a video connection. Green light. Y'all ready for this? There you go. I mean, everything's worked. Might have to give it a moment to dry out. Might have to give it a moment to warm up. I don't know. But everything has worked with the dunk test. Why don't we plug them both back in and just double test the data connection and see how they perform one more time. Okay, so let's open up where's my first assistant? Let's go with the 03 first. Okay, got a green light. Should connect. All right, now we're gonna get the firmware. Got the firmware. All right, it's looking good. Now let's do the Vista. Be right back. Let me solder these power leads on real quick. Okay, so I got power leads on. Let's do DJI FPV. Connects. Let's get the firmware. There we go. All right. I mean, I'm impressed. 2 all-in-ones. Vista and 03, the dip method, so everything is covered, ports, barometers, plugs. We dipped them in water. We let them dry for a moment. The all-in-ones perform perfectly, so that's gonna be great for your stacks and stuff. The Vista and the 03, unfortunately, it's not going to transmit while submerged. If anybody has a theory on that, please post down in the comments because I'd like to know. But with a few minutes of drying, they're working perfectly. I had to hit retry a few times on the assistant in order to get it to connect properly. I'm reading that as there's a fine layer of X30 between the cable and the plug, and to me that's a positive sign. That means that there's protection that wasn't there before, and that could also mean that this stuff is more durable than we initially thought. Maybe it doesn't come off so easily. Now, for your all-in-one and your stack and your receiver, you may want to go ahead and hit it with some conformal coating just to lock everything in. But raw, out of the bottle, I'm impressed. And so I'm going to be using this religiously as a replacement to the expensive dry drone that you can't get anymore. I don't think there's any reason to use silicone anymore. And I think there's going to be limited applications for conformal coating for me going forward. I think this is going to be my go-to. I hope it helped you out. I hope it helps you make an informed decision. With that said, peace out. Love you. Have a good day.